Hey there, Bri Seeley here. I wanted to take just a few minutes and record my entrepreneurial story for you. First off, if you are a potential client looking to hire me, this will definitely give you a better idea of who I am, what my journey has been, and why I am super qualified to help you through your entrepreneurial journey. If you are a new friend, it will hopefully give you more of a background on who I am and why I do what I do. So I began my first official business when I was 23. Now, leading up to that, I had helped my mom with many family businesses. I had helped her when she ran the college bookstore in town when I was 5, training her employees on how to use the cash register and count money at the end of the night, restocking, all of that sort of stuff. But when I was 23, I joke that I became like an accidental entrepreneur because I had finished 2 degrees in fashion design and set out into a town that just didn't have the opportunity to get a fashion job. And so I wanted to have and still be able to use my fashion knowledge. And so I was like, well, I'll just start a fashion label. And the first few years of my journey, I did art installations, I did bridesmaids dresses, I did flower girl dresses, and really just stayed within my parameter of being a designer. At that point, I hadn't picked up the business acumen, the business knowledge to take that business and make it something more. Now, little by little, things started evolving and unfolding. I learned a lot about entrepreneurship, and I developed my first collection. Now, the thing that a lot of people don't necessarily know about me developing my first collection is that the way I was able to fund that collection was a $12,000 check that I received from a car accident that I was in. Now, there's a lot of misconceptions out there about, well, I need to get funding in order to have a successful business, or I need to, get a bank loan in order to have a successful business. And the way that I built that business was not just that $12,000, but also things from family and friends. I did a lot of my fashion business through crowdfunding, through GoFundMe, through Kickstarter. I think I had about 3 successful rounds of crowdfunding to help me do things like get into LA Fashion Week and to help me do things like launch my next collection. And those aspects of my story, I think, are especially important because I don't want people to have this false sense that in order for you to start your business, you need a ton of money, first off, and second off, that you need to go somewhere else to find it. So many businesses are self-funded. In fact, I am currently in my 14th year of business, and I just got my first 2 business loans. So it is completely, totally possible to be a self-funded business. Now, over the course of my 8 years of my fashion business, I learned a lot about running a business. I was my everything in that business. I did all of my own designing, pattern making, sample making, sales, accounting, website development. I literally did everything in that business. But the coolest part about that was that I got to learn everything that it takes to run a business. Now, not every business owner can say that. Not every entrepreneur can say that. Not every coach can say that. And the thing that I love about my entrepreneurial journey as well is that, I also have the perspective of a physical product business. And it was in 2015 that I closed that business and transitioned into coaching. Now, the other thing that most people don't know about my journey is that during that 8 years that I ran my fashion business, I had a full-time job. I was only a full-time fashion designer for 1 year out of those 8 years that I ran that business. So during the first 7 years of me running that business, I was a vocational rehabilitation counselor. So in addition to, all of those years of product development and sewing and fashion shows and fittings and photo shoots and all of the things that go along with having a fashion business, during the day, I had to go into an office, and I got to get and receive 7 years of experience as a counselor, helping people I specifically worked with people who had been injured on the job and had to then branch out into a new part of their journey. And so I got to help people that had been injured on the job figure out what the next steps in their journey were. I got to help many of them go back to school and get retrained. I got to help many of them find new employers and get new jobs. It was a semi-fulfilling job. I loved the counseling aspect of it, but unfortunately I was mostly serving people that didn't want my help because they didn't want to get injured in the first place and they didn't want to get a new career. So what happened when I ended up closing down my fashion business was that I realized that I actually really loved helping people create the next steps in their journey. I'm kind of a natural counselor as it is, and I have all of this entrepreneurial experience from every aspect of business that is really beneficial to people. In fact, at that point in my journey, I had people emailing me constantly saying, "How have you done what you've done? And can you teach me?" And at the time, I told everyone no, because I'm a fashion designer, I don't do that. But when the universe basically gave me the message to shut my fashion business down, it became very clear that this was my next step. And so the way that it all kind of transpired was that it was Wednesday in March, and I had just been at a conference with a coach, or like a more of a small intimate, I guess. It wasn't a conference, it was more of a small intimate, what would you call it, like retreat weekend. And had a call with her that Wednesday, and she said, I really think that I could help you. And I started crying and said, I 100% know that you can help me. And it terrifies me. I'm super scared because my business isn't making enough right now to support itself, much less me. And I, at that point, didn't have another job. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to trust. I'm going to trust that by making this investment and moving forward with this vision that I have, that I'm going to be taken care of. So that was Wednesday. Signed the contract for $25,000, having zero income. Well, not zero yet. Close. Hold on. Let me get to the next part of my journey. So that was Wednesday. Thursday, I was on my way into my fashion office and I totaled my car. I did not have the proper insurance, and so they basically gave me $600 cash for my car. And I went from having, again, limited income to signing a $25,000 contract to now needing to invest in a car because I was living in Los Angeles and you can't not have a car. So I was in hysterics and in tears on the side of the road in Los Angeles. And the coach sent me a lovely, lovely video, which I still use in my trainings at this time, wherein I was told the story, "This is good." And so I trusted that even though I had made that decision and didn't have the money, and even though I had totaled my car the next day and didn't have the money, I was going to trust that the universe was putting me on the right path for the right reason. And so I stayed committed to that investment and got a new car at the same time. Literally 2 days later, that Saturday, I am getting ready to go pick up my new car, and I stopped by a friend's house to do a meditation she was leading with a number of other women, and was in this meditation and got this very clear message. It literally felt like Thor's hammer, like coming down and just like smashing down on top of me. And the message was, your fashion business isn't it. It's time to shut it down, and it's time to walk away. So here I go from investing $25,000 into growing my business to $25,000 I didn't have, to totaling a car that I then had to pay for with money I didn't have, to then literally losing my entire source of income. And I trusted it. Now, a lot of people might be asking at this point, like, what were you on? What were you smoking? What drugs were you taking? And the thing about the entrepreneurial journey that I got to learn firsthand and that I now get to help other people with is that the messages, the insights, the breadcrumbs on the path come before any sort of proof comes. Any sort of validation comes that you're on the right path. And it requires a huge amount of faith and a huge amount of trust. I think this is something that's not talked about enough in the entrepreneurial journey, is how much faith and how much trust is required for this journey. So about 2 weeks later, I decided to start my coaching business. And in the first 9 months of my coaching business, 9 months, I made $6,000 while still paying for that $25,000 investment. Now, another big part of my journey that a lot of people may or may not know is that I cashed in my entire retirement account to be able to invest in that coach. Here's the reason I did it. At the time, I was having a lot of shame around it, and I was feeling like I was making the wrong decision. And I knew that I couldn't tell my mom, because if I told my mom, she would be very angry about me wasting my retirement money for this investment. And instead, I got on the phone with my investment advisor, who is the most divine, amazing, amazing financial advisor that I could ever be blessed with in my life. And she said to me, you know, Bri, you saved that money for your future. You put that money aside for your future. And right now, you are taking that money and you are investing it in your future. Granted, it looks different than the way that you anticipated or expected it to look, but you are using that money for your future. And here's the interesting part. I used that money. My first 9 months, I made $6,000. The very end of December 2015, I was getting to the point where on January 1st, I wasn't going to be able to pay my rent. And I turned around from that into the first 9 months of 2016, serving people so deeply in their lives and in their businesses that I was able to hit $150,000 in my business in that subsequent 9-month period. And so much of the reason that I do what I do is because I truly believe that this is available to all entrepreneurs. But I also know that not all entrepreneurs learn what it takes to truly run a business. What happens with many entrepreneurs, and it's the exact same trap I fell into in my fashion business, was that I was a fashion designer. All I did day in and day out was fashion. I was not adept at the running a business part of the scale. I see this a lot with coaches. They just want to coach, but they don't know how to sell or market their services. They don't know how to be that powerful leader of their business, of their life. And so this is why I teach entrepreneurship, and especially in the way that I teach it. I combine both the personal and the business, because no amount of business strategy will ever make up for a lack of belief in yourself. So I use this 14 years worth of experience plus, multiple teachings and trainings and learnings, plus all of my hard times. I think it's those hard times that really let me be as effective as I am. And also my willingness to take risks. As an entrepreneur, that is all that you're doing. You are literally creating something out of nothing. And in order to create something out of nothing, you have to risk. You have to take risks. For me, that risk looked like investing in myself in a big, big, big way. And I can 100% tell you that if I hadn't made that investment in my business in 2015, I wouldn't be here making this video for you today. There's no way that I would have made it through my first 9 months of business, much less the second. And I had to make it through those first 9 months in order to get to the second 9 months. And it was having that person on my side, reminding me of my truth, pushing me past my edges, that allowed me to get to where I am today. So, I want to impart to you, whether you're a new entrepreneur or a seasoned entrepreneur, I get it. I've been there too. I've hit all the ups and all the downs. The thing that another thing a lot of people don't know is that the day I was on the Today Show, I had 25 cents in my bank account. All these people all over the world texting me, telling me what a success I was. And all I could feel was shame, because I only had 25 cents to my name. The entrepreneurial journey is an intense one. It is hard. It will test you. It will stretch you. It will push you past your bounds in a way that you don't even know what that means right now. Every single time you go to up level or grow your business, you're going to be tested. You're going to be stretched. You're going to be pushed. You're going to be brought to the edge of the cliff and asked to leap. And having someone on your side that's been there, that can hold that space for you and can hold your hand while you're taking that leap, is something that is invaluable. And again, I know because I invest in those people for myself, and I get to be that person for a lot of people. My team and I do. So hopefully this gives you a little bit more information about me, about my journey, about, how everything has unfolded in my life since 2007. There's a lot more in it, but hopefully this gives you a good idea, and you're always welcome to reach out to the team and I if you have any questions. I am looking forward to getting to know you, hopefully meeting you, working with you, whatever that looks like, and I wish you the most beautiful day.